everybody, welcome in. So today we are going to give you a room tour of the rooms at Pop Century Resort. Now this is just one of the rooms that they do have to offer here. So we do have permission to come in this room because this is my mom's room for her vacation. So without further ado, let's go. Come on in. All right, so here we have, if you look right in here, this is right by the window, which is right next to the door. You do have your standard ice bucket with cups and then a coffee maker. And in here you've got tea, you've got coffees. They are Joffrey's coffees and then some coffee mates and then some sugar and sweetener. You've got this little cabinet here, which this can actually, I believe this can go into. Hold on, let's take a look, shall we? No, not easily. They used to have them inside the things, but now you can just put things there that you need to store away. They do have a mini fridge. Check it out. This thing is so cool. All right, they also have this awesome little luggage rack. You can take it out and open it up, set your luggage on it if you don't want your luggage on the floor or anything like that. We do understand health things. Something else I would love to point out, if you look right here, you can see that they have port chargers for phone chargers. So if you don't have like a little wall connection, if you don't have a wall connector, great way to have that. And they actually have a couple of those throughout the room. So here on top of the dresser area, they've got one on each side, okay? You have 3 drawers, typical standard dresser. And then in here, if you open this up, you have the Bible, you have a pillow, and a safe. And we won't tell you what our 4-digit code is, but it is a really nice little safe there. Good place to put your valuables. Although, there's a lot of valuables you probably shouldn't bring. Just thought I'd throw that out there. The standard bed, also with the port connectors on the headboards. One by the phone, one over on this side. And of course, the lovely Mickey Mouse decor. Now this is really cool. So this is the door that hides me away. Just kidding. That is a really neat feature though. They used to have these curtains that you could draw across, but this is a bit more solid. They do have a little cubby hole here for a closet with hangers and then little cubby holes there at the bottom. They have an ironing board and a hair dryer and an iron, just in case you want to get fancy on your vacation.
Hi, people in the mirror.
And then there's Mike.
I'm the cameraman today.
They do have a lot of towels, because you know people like towels. And then they also give you this sea salt facial soap. And the sink, awesome. The bathroom, standard typical bathroom. Locking mechanism on the door. And in here is the shower. Okay. They also have these, because y'all remember how they used to give out like the bottles and you know the soaps and all of that. Well, you can take the soap now, but the bottles are fixed to the wall. You can't take those out. And when you come into your hotel room, if this little plastic wrap is not over here, if you're checking in for the very first time and this plastic wrap is not here, call somebody, have them come do like a clean sweep of your room, make sure all the touch surfaces are clean. They should and more often than not will be cleaned. But if this is not here, be sure to call somebody. This is the shower. As you can see, it's got these lovely sliding glass doors with the rubber stoppers on the sides so as not to hurt anything or anybody. They have these amazing dual-headed shower mechanisms. You can switch them here. It's pretty cool. And Disney is all about conservation. So you can bet your buttons that they are gonna ask you to help out. Okay, we're gonna come back out here into the room. Now they do have a coat rack where you can hang coats or jackets or anything like that. And then there's this really cool little feature I wanted to point out. Aside from this really awesome remote, and after they clean it, they wrap it up so nothing else gets on top of it. This right here. You're probably thinking, Steph, what is this thing? I'm gonna tell you, it's a bed. So if you take ta-da! And then this button here turns off the light. Light on. Light on.
And you got Pluto up there dreaming of bones.
So, they do offer these cool little things. It tells you all about the enhanced cleaning and what they have cleaned. And then they have this. And it kind of tells you, you know, how to make the most of your vacation if you haven't been here before. And you know, it's a really cool little thing. And then of course, the TV. And this is the channel that the TV is on when you do come into the room. Now, the TV won't be turned on when you come into the room. We came in and turned the TV on for you. But it does have this, and every few years or so, actually every year, they re-update it, so the music is just a little bit different every year. But it tells you the park hours and, you know, the weather and anything that's going on important in the parks. So there's also one more thing I would like to point out. This is very important. Your evacuation route. Safety is no joke for Disney. So Jiminy Cricket here tells you how to play it safe. Okay? Each door, each room does have a little peephole right there. And it tells you where all the fire exits are. And then every room comes equipped with this room occupied sign. So if you had a late night out at Disney Springs, got a little bit, you know, having a little fun out there, and you come back and you have a massive headache in the morning, just slip that on your door, and then the housekeeping or mousekeeping will overlook you when they come by. And then if you wake up later that day and you want like towels or anything, give them a call. And there is a directory on the phones that tells you what numbers to call for what. So there is that. And I think that'll about do it. Thanks for coming along on this little tour with us.
Alright guys, so now that Stephanie has shown you around our room, I'm going to take you guys around and show you the grounds around our building and show you guys some of the entryway building here at Palm Century, which is where you would check in for your resort stay. So, once you guys make your way into the entry hall here of Palm Century, these are your check-in desks. These are where you're going to check in for your rooms. You're going to get your tickets, your dining. They have all these period stuff hanging up on the walls here from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, which is what the Palm Century is themed to. So right under this archway, guys, this is where you're going to find the Everything Pop shopping and dining stores. In here, you guys are going to find a lot of your typical Walt Disney World merch, specifically the 2021 line, like behind me. You're also going to find hats, shirts, ponchos, any other merchandise items you may need for your trip or want. And now this is the counter service area where you would pick up your breakfast, lunch, or dinner depending on when you're eating here inside of Pop Century. Behind me here they have the 3 different drink stations where they offer hot or cold drinks. Your typical sodas, Coke, Sprite, Fanta Orange, Powerade, lemonade. And then over here is where you would get your coffee and your hot chocolate. And as always, they have an abundance of seating here inside of the seating area. This is one of, I think, 4 or 5 seating sections here inside of the Pop Century dining area. And each area has a TV that always plays some form of Disney short or sing-along or things like that. So once you guys exit out of the entry hall, you pass under this giant pop sign right here. And straight out across from me, that is the Hippy Dippy pool, which is the main pool for the 60s wing of the resort. But I'm going to take you guys back to the 80s area where we're at. And just to let you guys know, if you are ever staying here at Pop Century and are staying in the 80s wing, you guys will exit the entry hall after you check in and take a left. And you're going to have to pass through the 70s wing of Pop Century before you can get to the 80s. So, passing through the courtyard of the 70s wing here at Pop Century, you go past this giant foosball table set. And then, of course, you have the Mickey telephone, like the one we saw inside the entryway on this side. And on the other side, you have the big wheel over there. And across the tops of the buildings, you have traditional sayings from the time period. Have a nice day, boogie down, etc., etc. And some of the sections of Pop Century will have these little games set up. Like in the 70s, they have Twister, but they have other games like checkers and such that you can play. And also to let you guys know, along these walkways that are along the outside of the resort, they have these little historical signs of the years of the wing you're in that let you know kind of key events that happened in that year. For example, in 1984, Los Angeles hosted the Olympic Games and Americans took home 83 gold medals, and Michael Jackson's Thriller became the best-selling album of all time in 1984. So as you guys actually approach the 80s wing, you are actually greeted by a giant Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head right here. Great little cute photo op for kids or family members. And you also have your directional sign right here showing you to the center hall, the hippie pool, the 70s and 80s wing, to the Skyliner, and to the laundry area for guests. You guys can see right here the icon for our building, which is building 9, is a Sony Walkman, for anyone old enough to remember those. And right here across the way, the entryway to building 7, you have Roger Rabbit up here up to his old antics on a barrel of turpentine.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming on this little room tour with us. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope we were very informative for you. Again, this is one of the many rooms here at Disney's Pop Century Resort. There are so many other resorts, so many other rooms that we could take you into and show you all around. But due to COVID and everything like that, they are limiting the amount of people that can actually go into a resort, which is sad, but that's okay, them's the breaks. Thank you so much for joining us on this adventure, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.